Not everybody's cut out to be rich. That's a fact. You got to have that burning desire inside of you.
We paid $43 million for this place.
I'm not just talking out of my ass like a lot of people. I'm out there doing it. Class is back in session. If you're in real estate, the most important person in your life is your banker.
Why is banking the most important thing if you're trying to build wealth then?
You got enough money to buy a piece of real estate? No, average person don't. Your bank comes before your wife. The more I give, the more they want. Don't ever buy a house for cash flow. It's stupid. We've identified this property. We're thinking about buying it.
Why'd you buy a Tesla dealership?
Would you trust Elon Musk to pay you rent? But you know what $100,000 a month to him is? It's like you going to the store and buying a soda.
Do you think it's easier than ever right now to get rich?
Well, don't worry. The world needs dishwashers. It's true.
Ben Mallah, you have to spend $70 million in the next few months. How difficult is it to spend $70 million?
It depends whether you want to buy smart or you want to buy I mean, it depends. I'm out looking for deals every day. We just closed on a Tesla dealership. We just closed on a private university. We're going to contract on a brand new gym. My son's working on an apartment building, and that's a major rehab. My other son's working on another rehab. I mean, you gotta look. You gotta find deals that make sense.
So explain why you're in this position. What did you sell to have this $70 million you now need to spend?
I mean, yeah, we sold quite a bit of real estate. Maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I shouldn't have sold.
What makes you say
because
that?
I thought that the market was going to turn and the banks are keeping it from turning. That's what's going on.
What are they doing?
I mean, listen, I'm out there on the street. I'm dealing with brokers. I'm at properties. I know. I really know. I'm not just talking out of my like a lot of people. I'm out there doing it. And all the big shots and all the people that thought they were so brilliant that overpaid during COVID in 20, 21, 22, 23, they're getting screwed now because they didn't know what they were doing. Okay. Typically, these types of properties don't have long-term financing on them.
Mm-hmm.
So they all locked in at their little 3% rate. They locked it in for 5 years. And now the rate's double. They got to refinance. They got to pay the bank back. They're not going to cash flow. What does that mean? That means that the loans that the bank made are no longer at the same value they were when they made the loan. Why? Because the property can't cash flow double interest rate. It's simple. And listen, I deal with sellers every day that are just ready to throw the keys and walk away from millions of dollars in equity investment that they had. And a lot of them pool people together, okay, with your syndicates and raising money and all that. So, a lot of people are going to lose their shirt. But the banks loan too much money. Not only the buyer, the own people that bought property are going to lose, the banks have to lose. Why? Because the property ain't worth it. And a lot of these places, these people shouldn't have bought real estate to begin with. Because when I go out there, because they were bleeding, they're not operating properly. So therefore, the property deteriorates. It's not being managed properly because they don't have the experience, or they hired a management company, and the management company don't care. They have no skin in the game. So there's a lot of distress out there right now. I've looked at thousands of apartments and multifamily, and there's a ton of distress out there.
So what are the banks doing right now to prevent the collapse from happening then?
They're on the fence. They need to get off the fence and realize this loan is not worth what we loaned on it. But they don't want to do that. They don't want to admit it. They don't want to realize it. They've all been praying and delaying. Praying rates are going to come down. Okay, keep delaying. But now it's at the point where the sellers or the owners have let the properties go because they don't really know what they're doing.
So they're just letting it go to the bank.
Interest rates have now, what happens is when your time runs out on a loan, you have a fixed rate for so many years. All right, well, when the fixed rate period is up, it goes to today's rate. They can't handle that. Okay, so the banks are just trying to work with them. But there's nothing to work with.
Couldn't they just delay a little bit?
Delay. They've been delaying. They've been delaying for years
but
now.
It sounds like they're still delaying. It sounds like they're just delaying another 6 months, another year.
Just aren't even paying now. They just threw their hands up. Because a lot of them, they bought these properties. They realize that they're not equipped to rehab it. They don't do a proper budget. They don't know what they're doing. Too many people have gotten into real estate now that don't know what they're doing. And then what they're doing is they're pooling a bunch of money together, okay, which is even worse because now you got, all these investors and 10 different owners, and it's a mess. So there's a lot of real estate in the market right now that's distressed. And the sellers are ready to just walk away. Hopefully, a lot of them are personally guaranteed. That's not good. The ones that are not personally guaranteed, they'll just walk away. But the banks have to get it in their head, get this off our books. But they don't want to do that. You know why? Because if it gets out, then the value of the stock will go down in that bank. Why? Because the bank is only worth the value of the loans.
So you're saying a lot of these properties are completely underwater. It's not like they just wiped out the equity. They owe more.
They're all over the board. I've looked at properties that are barely keeping their head above water. I've looked at properties underwater. I've looked at properties that are drowned. I looked at 200 apartments the other day, empty. The guy just called me on the phone. You witnessed it. He just told me, I got this 304-unit building for you. It's 20% occupied. Oh, and then in Florida, a lot of people got hit by the last storm. Flood coverage is not much if they had flood coverage. So now they're sitting here. I looked at a 16-story building the other day, shut down. Right here, 20 minutes from here. I looked at hotels on the beach, shut down. Why? Because the flood kicked their ass, and now they need all this money pumped back into it. Some of them have been shut down by the city. They got red tags on them. And somebody needs to come in with major capital and put the place back in shape. But in order to do that, you have to buy it right. And the banks have to realize, listen, we screwed up. Things happen in life. Okay, the flood came, interest rates are up. These are all things that cause major distress. They got to realize it. They got to just cut their losses and move on. And then we're just waiting for them to finally do it. We're starting to see a little, but not a lot.
So are you getting good deals now?
I'm getting a lot of deals where the sellers are cooperating. They're a little walk. But now we have to go to the bank. We got to go to the bank and say, listen, you got to do a short sale. You got to do a short sale, or, you got to take a loss. If you don't take a loss, you're going to be sitting here with a property that's going to keep deteriorating, and there's no future except going down the toilet.
So what are your predictions then? How will this sort itself out?
I mean, sooner or later, the only solution is the banks have to say, okay, these are our troubled assets. Let's get them off our books and move on.
How could you be wrong? Like, what would need to happen?
It's happened many times in history.
So there's no way that there is any other alternative solution.
I can't think of any other possible way, except it's all about cost basis. Okay, you got to have a good cost basis when you go into a deal, and then prepare for all the rehab that needed, and you got to bring up the operating, okay, especially the places heavily vacated. I mean, the numbers got to work for an investor. Why would an investor go in and overpay for something and not make any money? It makes no sense.
So the reason that you have this $70 million right now that you have to spend is because the 1031...
I don't have $70 million to spend. I only got...
Well, I guess now because, you bought the Tesla dealership, the private school.
I just sold a Harley Davidson dealership yesterday. 5760, you're right? Close.
So you have $60 million-ish to spend?
That's correct.
And the reason you have this is because you sold a bunch of portfolio.
I sold some major assets that I didn't see. I felt like I got to the point where it was the best that I could do with these properties. And I thought, which I was wrong, that the banks would be more encouraged to play ball right now, and they haven't.
So do you think that it was a mistake then to sell the properties?
Some of them, yeah. Some of them I should have held. But I was also kind of worried about the future of some of those properties. Okay. Why did I sell a Harley Davidson dealership yesterday? Why?
Sales are down, right?
I believe so. And also, I felt like this. I try to use common sense. In my growing up, Harleys were really a big thing with guys that are now today, 50s, 60s, after 60, you ain't riding no bike much anymore. And I felt like all the new generation, the new money, wants the,
Teslas.
fast race rockets. They want a different type of bike. I think the old Harley style, except the police still use them, I think. I think it was just, it's going away. I mean, that's what I felt like. But it was a beautiful property. It was a great operator. I just felt like, you know what? Why take the risk? I sold a Home Depot. I sold a BJ's. Why? Because I felt like the area was declining. The shopping mall right near it was doing pretty bad. So I felt like, you know what? I've been with these assets. They've been good. Let's move on while I still got some term on a lease. Let the next guy, maybe he sees a different future than I do.
Why'd you buy a Tesla dealership?
Would you trust Elon Musk to pay you rent?
Absolutely.
Well, there you go.
What's the cap rate on that?
Close to 6. Yeah, a hair under 6. So I was pretty happy with that. And it was brand new. And it was a very good, thriving area. And I felt good about it. When I got there, I looked around, I checked it out. And then you got all this stuff going on with SpaceX and all this autonomous stuff. And listen, it's definitely the future. We all know that. It's not just the electric car. It's the cutting edge of technology, with him and that company.
So Elon Musk rents your real estate. How much does he pay you?
I don't know, about $1.3 million a year or something. So $100,000 a month, roughly.
And what's
what $100,000 a month to him is?
Nothing.
It's like you going to the store and buying a soda, probably.
It's actually probably even less.
Plus, the place is making money. I'm sure
he probably makes that a minute.
Listen, before Tesla decided to commit to leasing that place from the developer, I'm sure they did their homework. The next Tesla is an hour away in Orlando, okay? And I'm sure they did a lot of thought process and into that location and having a plan for it. So, I'm sure they're not just opening up dealerships just for the hell of it. They're doing it strategically.
So how much does it cost you then per month on the debt service on that property? Like, how much are you netting of this $100,000 a month?
Okay, I don't, but let's say I leveraged it all. Maybe I did 100%. I could do that. I could do it between a line of credit and a conventional loan. I could do whatever I want. But, if they're paying me 6 and my debt's costing me 5, I make a point on, I don't remember what I paid for it. What did I pay for it?
$22 million.
How much?
22, I believe.
22. I mean, the point is this. The reason why I bought it was because if I go out and buy something for $22 million while I'm in a 1031, I have a choice. I could buy that, get a return, or I could write Uncle Sam a check for probably in the neighborhood of close to $4 million.
Instead of buying a Tesla dealership. So you got basically $4 million discount.
Buy the Tesla dealership for 20-something million bucks, or write Uncle Sam a check for $4 million.
So you have the $60 million in gains that you kind of do need to spend. I'm curious, does it ever make sense just to pay the tax?
And really quick, I just want to say that most people know that they should have an LLC, but they keep pushing it off because it sounds super complicated. Well, that's why we partnered with Northwest Registered Agent. They make the entire process so simple that you could just get it done today.
For $39 plus state fees, Northwest forms your LLC and handles the state filings for you.
You get your operating agreement, member certificates, and banking resolutions, which is all the paperwork that actually makes it official.
And that's all that, plus a free domain, email, phone line, brand protection, and mail forwarding are bundled in so your business is ready to operate in the same day.
And your home address never goes in the public record. Northwest uses their own address in your filings instead of yours.
So if forming an LLC has been sitting on your to-do list for long enough, today is the day. Just go to northwestregisteredagent.com to get started.
That's northwestregisteredagent.com, or click the link down below in the description to get your LLC filed.
Thank you to Northwest Registered Agent for sponsoring this episode, and back to the podcast. So you have the $60 million in gains that you kind of do need to spend. I'm curious, does it ever make sense just to pay the tax?
It could. Depends on the market. If there's nothing that I'm thrilled about buying, or if I want to start, scaling down the portfolio and think about retirement, and maybe it's not the right assets to leave my kids, yeah, I could see paying. I paid the tax on a couple of items. That was the problem. Last April, I said, you know what? I'm retiring. I'm going to start living life. I'm going to travel. I'm going to enjoy my life. And these assets, they're really not for my kids. They like multifamily. I'm going to sell some. And I'm not even going to replace them. And when it came time to write that check in April, that number was so big for my CPA. I did it, but I don't think I could do it again. At least I'm going to try not to do it again.
How much was the check?
Big. Under 10 million.
What'd that feel like to pay $10 million to the IRS?
I mean, you got to look at it every different way. Listen, I've had 30 plus years of success and, deferring tax. I mean, it's either, listen, you got a choice, either pay the tax or, I die and then you don't have to pay the tax. Well, if I die, I'm not going to really enjoy not paying the tax. So,
yeah.
I mean, listen, that's life. You can't have everything perfect. And, it's a balance. It's, sometimes you pay the tax, sometimes you won't. But I'm not going to buy a deal just based on the tax savings. It has to be a good deal, a solid deal.
Well, at least
because
the taxes.
I could easily lose the amount of tax that I would have to pay in that deal if it's a bad deal.
At least the taxes, though, go to a good cause.
Absolutely. We're building a new wing on a White House. I mean, listen, it's life. What are you going to do? I'm only one schmuck doing the best I can, managing a big portfolio, and trying to prepare my kids for their future now. That's basically my main concern.
So are you becoming more conservative as an investor to be able to buy a Tesla like that at a 6 cap? Because before it seems like you'd always be buying 8 to 10s.
Yeah, but I'm only borrowing at 5 because I got big power with borrowing money. So, you do the numbers. If I take a loan on that thing for 80%, $22 million, let's see, what's that, a $20 million loan or something like that, or $18 million loan? So I'll get the spread of the $4 million, making a point off the bank, plus I got my $4 million that's getting me to 6%. It works out to be a good return.
How do you borrow at 5%?
Because I have relationships and I'm no risk. Once you show the bank you're no risk, okay, you're doing them a favor. I'm doing them a favor by borrowing their money because I'm no risk. So, of course, they got to give me the best rate, the best terms.
How much do you have to put down?
I mean, typically I can easily do loans at 80%. But, that's because it's me. Plus, the bank, sees my assets. They might have my assets within their bank, within their brokerage arm. It's a lot of, strings attached to that, but it's about relationship and proving to the bank that they can, there's just no question of any risk in giving me a loan.
It's funny. Yeah. You were actually on a phone call right before this episode. You're walking down and you get a call, you take it. This guy tells you this whole situation. This guy's a distressed seller. And you're just like, tell him I'll give him $10 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, all right, yeah, I don't know. Like, you didn't even see it. You knew the area. He said, hey, it's this property. You're like, is it the north or the south side of the street? He's all the south. And you went, and you're like, oh, man, oh God. All right, yeah, just tell him I'll give him $10 million. I know the property.
I mean, I've been there 20 years. I know the property. I know where it's at, and I can think about all the things I could possibly have to do to fix the property up. So I offered him $10 million. The bank already loaned 30, which was stupid.
See, to me, it's just crazy that you have that level of expertise to not look at a picture, to not look at like any of the details.
Well, he's going to do inspections.
Obviously, it was a bit of like
it's only opening the door.
Yeah.
I'm still going to go out there. I'm still going to put my boots on the ground. I'm still going to inspect the place. I'm still going to factor in everything, but I make a low offer that I know I can do. Okay. Why? Because the land alone is probably worth $30 a door.
Do you think that you're sharper in real estate knowledge now and expertise now than you were, say, 15, 20 years ago, 10 years ago even?
I mean, I'm sharper now or smarter now because of the experience, but I'm older, so I don't have the drive I used to have, and I don't have the passion I used to have.
So you think that you'd be more bullish
now
on Ben Mallah?
I don't get a thrill out of it anymore. I've done it for over 35 years, okay, or more. And I don't have the passion like I used to because it's age. It's normal. It's a human evolution. And my kids do. And, so I support them. And I'm always looking for a deal. But, I go in, I find a deal, I close the deal, and I just say, here, take care of this deal.
What's the best deal you've gotten in the last year?
I've had a lot of deals.
In the last year, what's the best deal you've gotten?
I mean, I've had some really good small ones. I got one for sale right now out in a senior affordable housing deal. I'll probably double my money on. It's about 70-something apartments. Lately, I mean, I don't know. I've sold some deals that I've had for many years. But as far as, I mean, let's see, bada bing, bada boom, bada bing. I don't know. It's all over the board. I got hotels, I got retail, I got apartments. I mean, everyone's a good deal, but, I don't have any big home runs to stick out since I've done some. I mean, I've flipped some properties recently that, there was 10 million upside, stuff like that.
One thing I want to talk about is a lot of people that are getting started, they feel like they need to build their knowledge and their expertise before they move. How do they know they have enough expertise or knowledge in the field before getting into their first deal? Because now, I mean, you are like one of the leading experts. I feel like that we know.
They should go to benmallah.com, consult with Ben for pennies on the dollar.
Why is it so cheap? And I'm not trying.
Because I'm not doing it for the money. All right. He's got to make money. The guy that runs the channel, the bookings, the time, people's time is valuable. But I truly enjoy helping people. Okay. That just gives me a very big personal satisfaction. Okay. And I'm not knocking, other people. Listen, I do consulting with guys from nothing all the way up. Yesterday, I actually had a call with a guy. He just sold his company. He's probably worth $500 million and doesn't know what to do, but he wants to be in real estate. Okay. I don't care, but I really like helping the small guy. I like to help the people that just get their first deal done. Okay. Whatever they can afford, whatever they qualify for, finding a good deal. Because that, once you get in the door, then it leads to a lot of other doors.
Yeah, I actually booked you for an hour Zoom call for the group I run, the Index, link in the description. So it's a group of entrepreneurs we booked you for an hour.
I have to be nice to you that day.
You do.
Not him.
Not Jack.
But it's only, like $350 for 15 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, but you'd be surprised you can cover 15 minutes. I can know somebody's whole life story in 15 minutes. And all I do is I tell them, I put myself in their shoes, and I tell them, what would I do if I was in their shoes? They're married, they got a kid, they live here, they make this, their credit is this, they never bought a house before, they apply for FHA finance, and we go through the whole thing. I mean, and I've had so many people call me back and say, listen, I took your advice, it worked out, we're doing great. I mean, listen, helping people is a great thing, really helping them, affecting their life. All these, listen, I don't knock actors and sports guys and all these people that entertain people, which is fine. We need entertainment in life. It's a human thing. Okay. But I like actually helping people improve their life.
A big point of our last discussion was that you're trying to lean into retirement. But by retirement, you mostly mean being done with real estate. It's
not done. I'm always going to be around till the day I die, as long as my brain's working. My kids are going to get on the phone with me. They're going to ask me questions. We're going to make decisions. You don't really ever retire when you have a real estate portfolio and you plan on turning it over to your family. You don't retire. But I could be on my boat anywhere, or I could be in any country on the phone, and I can consult from anywhere. I enjoy doing consulting. Consulting is going to be a big part of my retirement, helping people.
Are you trying to lean away from value add, like distressed assets with high operational carry, or and lean more into like triple net, safer, like the Tesla?
It's a combination of both. In my position, and this is not for everybody, in my position, you have to be diversified. You can't just focus in on one type of assets. You got to be diversified, so that gives you stability. Okay, something you need to learn about, stability. You're very unstable. Mentally, maybe not physically, but financially. How many house hacks, how many people you got living in your freaking house? You wake up in the morning and you got people strangers in your goddamn house.
I got 4 people living in my house.
5,
because one of them has a girlfriend.
One's moving out though. So
I'm also going to be moving out and maybe selling my property too. So if you want a sub 3% deal in Las Vegas, let me know.
Yeah,
Michael, it's not worth his time to be sub 2ing a deal.
The only sub I want is a turkey sub. What are you buying me for lunch today?
I'll buy you a turkey sub.
Turkey sub.
Yeah.
So basically, listen, I like diversification. I feel like I'm stable. I've got money in triple nets like the Tesla dealership. We just closed a $43 million apartment building where my son's a partner. All right, he's rehabbing it. He's getting it all going. He's actually physically there, being the manager. He hasn't done that in years. He normally has a property manager. He supervises them. But this project, he's moved into the apartment building. My son lives in $1 million home. He's a multimillionaire. He packs his family up and he moves into the building.
Does that make you proud?
He's processing maintenance requests. He's collecting rents. He's doing marketing. He's got a construction project going on. I mean, listen, when your kids act like that, you know, you got to keep backing them and you got to keep supporting them. And then the other son is in Tallahassee on a project he's a partner in, rehabbing it right next to the university.
I saw that video that Ben Jr. did. I was really impressed.
It's really
by
good.
it.
Yeah.
And it's real.
Yeah.
And I was out there the other day with him. It's real. It's not.
So he's living in the apartment
He's
complex.
living in the apartment. Why? Because he's got his hands on it. He's got control. He's going to get that place running right, stabilized. Of course, eventually he'll bring a manager in, but he's going to make sure that it's in the right stage to bring a manager. Plus, he's got major construction to do there. He's got about 50 apartments he's got to build from a shell.
You think that always makes sense if you're getting started in, not that he's getting started, but for those that aren't experts in the field, if you want to get into your first deal, especially if it's multifamily, it makes sense to actually live in the property.
Well, you don't necessarily have to live in it, depending on the size of it. It was such a big project. He said, I'm not traveling. I'm just going to stay here. Otherwise, you have to drive 2 hours each way.
So you don't think that you'll ever fully be mostly done? Like you're always going to be working? Because it seems
I am contemplating and thinking about hiring a sharp kid that I met, trained in New York, on a corporate level to help me manage the portfolio, because he has a lot of the skills that, see, my kids have been in the trenches. And we need to add a little more corporate type
structure to
the management of portfolio.
What would that do for you?
I got a kid that, I call him a kid. He's no kid. He's probably, I don't know. Well, he's not even 30 yet. Anyway, so I'm trying to get him aboard because I like what he can do. What I've seen him, I have him come down here sometimes, what he can do in a matter of a couple of hours on a computer and spreadsheets and all this stuff and formulating things takes me days.
Well, he's just using Claude most likely.
Huh?
He's using Claude most likely. And he's just typing in a few
Claude,
numbers.
Anthropic, which we love.
I can have a conversation with him about basis, taxes, returns, leverage. I can have a conversation and we can have a serious discussion.
Yeah, but Claude could do the same thing. You just talk to Claude. It's going to...
Claude Schmord.
Listen,
it's not the same. It's not reality. It's artificial.
Would you say that doing one individual big deal requires a completely different skill set than managing a bunch of different portfolios and relationships with the bank and this and that? Like, what is the main differentiating factor between $500 million portfolio?
Now, really quick, I just got to say, I've not had a piece of technology blow my mind in a long time, but these glasses that I'm wearing right now are actually insane. For those unaware, we partnered with Even Realities. They sent Jack and I each a pair of the Even G2 glasses, and it genuinely feels like the next evolution of technology and AI.
Even G2 is a real-time co-pilot for the conversations that matter. It keeps deal context, live prompts, and real-time translation right in your view so you can stay present, prepared, and effective from the first call to the close. And unlike most smart glasses, they look and feel like premium eyewear. They're comfortable enough to wear all day, and they really just feel like a pair of prescription glasses. I'm actually reading the script right off my glasses right now, looking straight at you with nothing in my hands.
There's also not a camera in these, so no one's ever filming anybody. You could wear them anywhere, even walking into a restroom, and it's never a concern.
And the videos playing are actually how it looks and works in real life. I messed around with the translation for about an hour the other day. I put on a Japanese podcast, and I kid you not, I understood every single thing that they were saying, and I kept up the whole time. I'm genuinely so excited. Next time I go out of the country, I'm going to bring a second pair of these glasses and hand it to a local, and then we can have a full-on conversation while speaking completely different languages.
To me, this really just feels like when flip phones changed over to smartphones. It's one of those things you just know you're early to it. So if you want to get yourself a pair, just head to evenrealities.bio/icedcoffee and use the code icedcoffee for 10% off Even R1 and or Even Clip when you add them to your Even G2 order.
Once again, that is evenrealities.bio/icedcoffee, or scan the QR code on the screen right here, or also click the link down below in the description and make sure to use promo code icedcoffee. Last October, I was flying to Japan with a couple of friends, and after a delay, I was positive that we were going to miss our connection. But the flight attendants moved us up to the front of the plane when we were deboarding to get off quickly. They called the other gate to let them know that we were coming, and they even gave us a pep talk because we had to sprint, I kid you not, across the entire airport. We made it.
It may not seem like much, but when someone goes the extra step, it makes a positive impression. And if you're hiring, great candidates could also go the extra step and tell you why they're interested in your job on ZipRecruiter as a way to stand out from the others.
And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/ICH.
ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology does the searching for you. It pulls in the people who actually fit the job. And ZipRecruiter has a new feature that shows you the most interested, qualified candidates first, so you meet the right people faster.
It's no wonder why ZipRecruiter is the #1 rated hiring site based on G2.
Try ZipRecruiter and meet great candidates who will go the extra step for you. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Try it for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/ICH. That is ZipRecruiter.com/ICH. ZipRecruiter, meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Would you say that doing one individual big deal requires a completely different skill set than managing a bunch of different portfolios and relationships with the bank and this and that? Like, what is the main differentiating factor between $500 million portfolio and doing
Zeros. It's all about money in, money out.
So it's the same skills.
It's all the same. Whether you just got to add zeros and add more, there's more things to add on a bigger property. You got more expenses. You have more income streams. You got different things that come up, with the property. But basically, if you want to buy real estate, you want to own real estate, I highly recommend you run it yourself. Get your hands dirty. That's the best experience you will ever get. If you wanted to go out tomorrow and stop being a house hacker with all these strangers walking around in their underwear every morning in your house, go out, buy yourself a fourplex. I don't believe in less than a fourplex. You got 4 tenants paying your rent, okay, and you should cash flow fairly well if you buy it right. And it's not a lot of management. But manage it yourself. You collect the rents. If there's a problem, send the handyman over to fix it. There's not much else to it, and pay the bills, and there aren't any bills on a fourplex. Your tax bill, your insurance bill, your mortgage bill, and then you got some maintenance. That's about it.
I got so tired of doing that, though. It was just exhausting.
You don't want to work. I can look at a guy like you in a minute and say, this guy ain't going to work.
I like to wake up and not have a single care other than just, here's a task I got to do, and that's it.
You're from California. You want everything easy.
I got to say, I just sold 2 of my multifamily in Los Angeles, and every day I wake up that I think I don't own that anymore. Oh,
well, that's because you've experienced it. But we're talking about somebody starting out. You've experienced it. You looked at the situation. You said, you know what? These things are a pain in the neck. I live far away in another state. I've already, if I sell it now, the numbers probably made a lot of sense, even with the tax ramifications.
Oh, yeah.
And you made a decision. You managed your portfolio. That's what I do all the time. I look at a property and I say, okay, is this property a pain in the ass? Well, whether it is or not, it's not going to be a pain in the ass to me, too much because, I got people to run it. But do the numbers make sense? Is it best to keep it? Is it best to refinance it? Is it best to sell it? You got to make decisions when you're managing a portfolio. But if you're just getting into real estate, you got to get your hands dirty and run your own stuff. You have to. That's the way you'll know whether you want to grow in real estate or you don't. A lot of people don't.
Well, one thing that's pretty clear is that you have a beautiful home here, 20,000 square feet that you're selling.
It's for sale.
What's the asking price?
It was asking $35 million. Why? Because if you go anywhere on this, we're in a special little city here on a private beach.
Yeah.
If you go anywhere in our area on this beach, people are paying $8 to $10 million for a single lot, and knocking down a house. This house, the land alone has a value of 20 to 24 million. Okay? It's just, I can prove it. To build this house with the qualities that this house has, I haven't had the contractors' bills that built it. Okay? You're going to spend minimum 25 million. You have to, with the bowling alleys and the lazy rivers and the quality of all this stuff. Okay, so here you are. You're somewhere in the neighborhood of 45 plus million. So I put it on the market for 35. And you'd have to wait 4 to 5 years to build it.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. You could turnkey, walk into this house, less than what the replacement cost is. Okay. Right now, we lowered the price to 31.
Have you had any offers?
I've had about a half a dozen showings. But honestly, nobody has made me a realistic, legitimate offer that I would even consider.
Why?
Because people want you to carry, or, people want to do some creative stuff. They all had the money to buy the house because we pre-qualify them before we let them look at the house. But listen, it takes time. And the market is so small in this price range and in this area. Now, if this area was in South Florida, if this house was in South Florida, forget about it. It'd be worth $100 million in certain areas, like the area you were talking about earlier. Okay. But it is what it is. It's a great house. You just got to find the right buyer for it.
What happens if you can't sell it?
I just keep it. What am I going to do? I can't sell it. I keep it.
Would you sell or finance it?
No, I'm not like, listen, why would I have to sell or finance? I always say to myself, when people offer seller financing, beware. There's a reason why. Maybe it's helping them tax-wise. Maybe. But typically, let them go to a bank. Why do I need to be the bank? Why can't they just take the down payment and go to a bank? Maybe the bank won't qualify them. Well, if the bank won't qualify them, why the hell would I qualify them?
What's your interest rate on this property?
Oh, I locked in a good rate on this thing.
2% interest only, right?
2.5.
So you could sell it, seller finance
I'm good
at 3.5
for 15 years.
That's incredible.
7 years have gone by for 15 years.
So you get 7 years at 2.5%.
Wait. I got about 9 years left at a fixed rate loan, interest only on this house.
But you could make
a
1% or 1.5% if you seller financed it at 4% or 3.5%.
For 7 years, yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do it. Listen, I don't want to be the bank. I don't like loaning people money. That's not what I do.
Yeah, but you're loaning the bank's money.
And if
it's
that
not
person
really
goes
your
belly
money.
up, then what?
Then you
I
take
gotta
back
foreclose on them.
Then you take back the property.
I don't like doing that. I don't want to go after people. I don't want to be in a bad situation. I don't like to be.
You want people going after you?
I want people go after me?
Yeah.
What do you mean, people going after me?
Well,
I pay all my bills, so nobody goes after me.
Right. You'll take on debt, but you will not release the debt. Like
I'll
you don't want
debt all day long because that makes sense for me. I make money on the bank's money. Plus, I'm able to spread my money out, much more by using the bank's money.
How much money do you have to buy a $30 million mansion?
Typically, you're going to have to qualify, but if you're going to buy a $30 million mansion, you're probably going to have to go out and get a jumbo loan. A jumbo loan is probably going to be at least 25%. Okay, 25% of 30 million, 10% is 3, 6, 7, 8 million down, and you have to qualify for the loan. You got to prove, how am I going to pay the loan? And then you got taxes, and then you got insurance. You got to make a substantial income to be able to buy a house like this. Or a lot of people that own houses that will buy a house like this typically, have that kind of cash that they want to just buy it or put a lot down, have very little mortgage.
So you're selling a $30 million mansion. You've had a handful of showings on average. The people that come see the property and want to buy it, how much money do they have?
Typically, I would think that the rule of thumb in banking is if you buy if your mortgage, let's figure it out. If your mortgage is going to be, let's say 20 million, right? 20 million, today's rate's probably about 6%. Okay. So that's going to put you at $1.2 million a year, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
20 million is $1.2 million a year, is $100,000 a month.
Multiply by 3.
If you're making, if you got to pay a mortgage of $1.2 million a year, you probably got to be making over $3 million a year to qualify.
But even so, I heard that if you're buying like anything over 15 million, you don't really fit the 33% rule because those people kind of spread their money out a little bit
Depends
more.
on their assets.
So realistically, like, wouldn't they, like, you have to have like $100 million like to justify a 30 million.
No, you wouldn't need $100 million. Listen, if you if you can prove you have stable income coming in of a few million a year, the bank will loan you,
I don't think someone who's worth $20 million is buying a $30 million house.
No.
Even if they have the income to do that.
I don't know. but no. Listen, you got to be somebody that it's not going to hurt you and to buy this house. It's got to be somebody worth probably, like you said, 60, 70, 80, 100 million.
What about buying a $10 million house? How much do you have to be worth?
A $10 million house, I would think you have to be worth minimum 20 million.
You think that's responsible if you're worth $20 million to spend 10 on a house?
Depends on what your income is, too. It's not just a question of your worth. Okay, you can be worth a lot of money, but, what's your income? What's your returns? What's your investments? The bank looks at the whole picture.
Also, I'll caution you again to this hitting the
hit Jack
just because
instead.
I know our editor is going to be like, yo, just like
this fucking back guy's always at the table.
Just hit Jack instead.
My head's down here.
So
how much time do you guys have? I need a cigarette. I didn't even smoke.
If you need to take a break, we'll just
we
cut.
can pause whenever.
I want to go have a cigarette, man. In Scotland, I just came back from Scotland. You know what they call cigarettes there?
So, in owning a $30 million, 20,000 square foot house, how much does this cost you per year for random things?
I mean, number one, a house like this, it pretty much requires 2 full-time housekeepers.
So you have 2 full-time staff members here that...
I always had 2 full-time housekeepers for 20-something years. But yeah, this house definitely, you need it, because you got to maintain everything.
What's the cost of
that?
that?
Use the house, not that much.
What does a housekeeper do?
I mean, what do you mean? Every day they got to wash
Cleaning,
clothes, they got to
cooking.
clean bathrooms, they got to make beds, laundry. I mean, everything. Go through the whole house, make sure everything's neat, clean, and kept up.
So that's going to be $100,000 a year just in cleaning the house.
I mean, it could be. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much they make, but it's a significant expense. Then you're always going to be on top of all the maintenance and stuff. You got to have money for maintenance. Now, I did rip out all the lawns, put fake lawns in, so I cut the landscaping down to 0, and I'm lucky my guys could pop over here and trim whatever I need.
Mm-hmm.
Once a year, you got to do the trees. That's going to cost you no more than a few grand. It's not tremendous, but the tax bill is significant. It's over $250,000 a year. And then insurance, you have insurance, and
how much is the insurance?
Insurance, I don't think is much. It's probably about $25,000 a year because I don't have much insurance. Typically, somebody would probably spend more than that. Probably 40 or something like that.
And what about pricing the neighborhood? Like different contractors, when they give you a quote to replace a door as opposed to someone else, if they're walking into a 20,000 square foot massive estate, like they could jack up the prices a lot. Have you noticed any of this?
Yeah, of course. You always got to know what the industry cost is for anything you're fixing in life. No matter what. You got to know what's the industry. And with AI today, I'll even tell you. But, you got to be careful not to get taken advantage of people that want to overinflate your bill because you live in a big fancy place.
What's the craziest quote you've ever gotten for a repair?
From small to big. I've had companies that, we have what they call a restaurant system here. The whole house is run by computers. They want to charge $100 an hour just to talk to you on the phone. So, that seemed a little ridiculous to me. I got a simple question for you. You're going to bill me for $100 minimum, to talk to you. Anyway, I mean, listen, everything you do, you got to look at your options, what your options are. Basically, whenever I hire anybody in any aspect, I think about time, how long does it take to do the job, materials, overhead, and profit. Okay? And I come up with a realistic price that should be fair for everybody. Okay? If it's a 2-hour job and the guy's making whatever, he bills the guy out at, $50 an hour. I don't know these days with plumbers, electricians. I don't know. All right. So you got a couple of hours with a plumber, that could be $100, $200. Then you got the materials. Is it a toilet? All right. Well, what toilet do I want? Toilet could be another $200. Then you got overhead and profit, even though he's already making money over billing out the guy from what he's paying him. So you come up with some sort of, realistic number that makes sense.
People are kind of scared to ask the contractor, like, how much did this cost you? How much upcharge are you having? Like to see
or
how much
can you even trust them?
Yeah, can you even trust
the
what
problem is, number one, you can do a lot of homework on your own. All right. With today's technology, you can figure out what it takes to fix almost anything. And then basically, listen, if a contractor is not willing to be transparent with you, 9 times out of 10, he's ripping you off.
So you should ask.
And you should be able to figure it out for yourself. The other day, on top of our LA Fitness down the road here, we have this giant metal crown thing that's like a design. It just sits on the roof, some special design they came up with. All the LA Fitnesses have them. It needed a paint job. All right. The guy throws me some crazy number out there. I said, listen, just because it's on top of Fidelity Fitness, anyway, the long story short is we sat on a phone and I said, okay. He says, well, I need a lift. I said, okay, how much is the lift going to cost you? All right, I need a lift for 2 days to do that job. Fine. How much is the lift going to cost you for 2 days? I could call up and find out myself. All right, we figured out what that was. It was like, I don't know, be delivered and picked up $1,000. Then, what's the paint cost? All right, we do need special paint so it doesn't rust again like it did, and there might be some prep work. It's probably a 2-day job for about a couple of guys. All right, a couple of guys, a couple of painters. Maybe they're worth $300 a day. That's 3, 6, 9, 12. Make it 1,500 in labor. What the hell? I'm always a little. We got 1,500 labor. We got $1,000 for the lift. It's 2,500. The paint is probably only a couple of hundred, few $100. Or up to $2,000. He's got to make 20%. Another $500. The jobs cost $2,500.
And what do he quote you?
5,000. We settled at 3.
So you fully went on it. Hey, itemized expenses. Tell me how much everything.
It's not, everything is accessible these days. You know how much stuff costs. You simply go online and figure out how to buy it. Even a part for my boat, I will look up the part number and see what it would cost me to buy that part. Okay? And in boats, you got to be really careful. Boats, planes, I can't do much about it. You can't argue with the plane guys. Cars, I do. My son, my partner that raised me in real estate, left to my son when he passed away his Rolls-Royce, Vincent, the black one.
Wow.
He loved the car. But the car was starting to get old. And, fixing an old Rolls-Royce can be very expensive. He went to the dealership because he needed some kind of turbo injectors and this and that. $40,000. That's what the dealership wanted. Luckily, I got a friend down in Orlando who is in the car business, and he knows a mechanic that used to run a dealership, but started his own company, his own auto repair. Right? We had the car put on a truck, we shipped it down to Orlando, and the guy looks at it, he says, you know what? I could rebuild these. We spent $4,000
No way.
Instead of $40,000. And then we sold the car. There's more going to keep going.
Yeah, of course.
And then I gave him my Bentley. I said, I'll tell you what, sell your Rolls Royce, I'll give you my Bentley. There you go, done. So that just goes to show you, 40,000 compared to 4,000. That's the way it goes with everything. You gotta spend your money wisely. You can't spend money, on anything significant unless you do your homework. Everything is stop it.
Just hit Jack instead.
All right, you got to do your homework. All right, anything you spend your money on, before you part with a penny, do your homework, make sure you're not getting ripped off. In our company, we have a rule. We have to get 3 bids on everything. I got $1 million worth of AC work I got to get done on a university I bought. Well, I had contacted 3 different AC companies and make sure they're all bidding on, like when my son built a building, I was impressed. He had 7 contractors bid on exactly what he needed done. And then he compared each bid. Now they played their little games where they hire on one thing and low on another, but in the end, you got to pick the guy that he's not sticking it to you, at least not too much.
How do you know, though, they're not going to quote you really low and then go in and say, well, actually, when they're halfway through the job?
Well, those are considered change orders. I mean, once you got a contract, you got a contract. When you're building, you got a contract. Okay, this guy has to build it for this price. Now, if you start making changes, that's a different story. But he's got to bid it based on whatever the prices are, the materials at the time. He's got to bid it on the labor. I mean, you got a contract in writing. He can't go up in the price. Always get things in writing, always.
So what are you noticing then throughout the entire real estate market right now? How has it changed in the last 6 months?
Right now, we're in this weird zone right now, okay? We're in a weird zone. But if you want to make money in real estate, it's all about 99.9% of it is finding a deal. Find a deal and make sure you bought it for the lowest possible price the seller would sell it for. You have to come in and lowball. Not saying you're going to end at that price and get it at that price, but you got to play the game. You got to get in low. So you're down here, he's up here, and then you got to set your maximum price you're willing to pay. You have to buy it right. If you don't buy it right, you get screwed.
What type of real estate has the best deals right now? Is it apartments, hotels?
All right, number one, you want to run away from office space because nobody's leasing it. All right, it's a bloodbath in offices. Okay, unless you have some magic wand that you can rent the space out, you die, and you can't convert them to anything else. Everybody's tried apartments. I thought maybe storage, but listen, it's far fetched. Stay away from office. Multifamily is always a great sector of real estate. Okay, because it's not very difficult to run. People pay your rent, you fix something if it's broke, you maintain it, you pay your bills, you're done. And the banks love to loan on them. But you have to buy them right. Okay, you can't go on strictly projections. A lot of people buy because they say, oh yeah, rents are going up. Rents aren't always going up. Right now in Fort Myers, where we just bought, rents are going down. My competition is giving away 2 months free.
So how do you compete with that?
We try to, go beyond the normal marketing, leasing. Well, number one, the product we bought was built as condos. That's why I felt good about the property. There is not one apartment building that you can rent in Fort Myers that's going to give you the square footage and the amenities that we have because it was built as condos. You're basically renting something somebody typically would buy to own. With garages, with private elevators, with big square footage, things like that. So I felt like we can market that property above everybody else, regular apartments. Plus, we're going to think out the box. We're going to go right to the big employers. We're going to do stuff management companies won't do because we're the owner. A management company, and don't get me wrong, there are good management companies out there, but there's still, even the best management companies are not going to cross the line and go beyond the call of duty. They don't care. They're going to charge you a fee based on the gross rents that they collect, and they're going to do an average job of industry standards. But we as the owners, we're going to go beyond that. There's a guy named Paul that works for me, right? I gave him a building out in that senior building I have, and there was a problem filling the vacancies there. Why? Because it was in a very rural area. What does he do? He buys those cheap bandit signs. He drives around maybe a 20-mile radius or a 15-mile radius. He's sticking signs out in high traffic areas, grocery stores. He's contacting senior centers and programs. We do stuff that nobody else is going to do because we're the owners, all right? Average people, employees won't even do it, I mean, we as owners will instruct employees to do it, and they have to do it. But a management company, they're not going to lose sleep. We lose sleep when we lose money. So, multifamily is always the best, smartest thing. If you're small, try to get into a fourplex. Why? Because up to 4 units is still considered residential. It's very easy to get a loan for. You can get FHA. You can get VA if you're a veteran. 4 units is a great place to start. Retail, the only way you're going to make money in retail, I'm telling you right now, you have to buy with vacancy. I mean, otherwise you're buying for a good cap rate. You buy at a cap rate, that's the end of it. You get your little increases over the time, and that's it. Retail is strictly about buying it with vacant space that you could fill. That's your upside.
How much does bad management ruin a deal?
Management is everything in real estate. Management is everything. Maintaining a property, keeping it rented, making sure you're at market rents, taking care of your tenants. I mean, management is after you buy it, 99% of real estate is finding the deal. Then 99% of it, after you buy it, is managing it. And if you're doing rehab, you really got to make sure you got a good plan. And then you talk about hotels and storage facilities. Those are more a business.
Yeah.
That's all based on supply and demand. You have to buy real estate like that where there's a demand. Okay, because I've seen plenty of places, hotels and storage places do well in a high demand area, and I've seen them go belly up because there was no demand.
What's the worst situation you've seen an owner be in?
I mean, typically they overpay. That's the biggest problem you're going to see in real estate. You overpaid, and now something came up and you're going to be underwater. Okay, you didn't do your homework. You didn't check the roof. You didn't prepare for, everything has a life expectancy. Okay, that's why on your tax return, everything is depreciated. Residential is 27.5 years. They depreciate your rental income. Why? Because they feel like these things are losing, and so eventually they're going to have to be replaced or money's got to be pumped into them. On commercial, it's 40 years. So basically, everything has a life cycle. You got to be prepared for the end of that life cycle. If I walk into a 200-unit building and we look at all the ACs, and the ACs are all 20 years old, ding, 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 I may have to be replacing a lot of ACs soon. Same with appliances. You got to check the roof. You got to make sure, you got to do your homework, plumbing, electrical, equipment. You got to take all these things into consideration when you buy a piece of property. You got to look at the future. You got to protect your for what could and will eventually happen. We all know nothing lasts forever.
How quickly could you tell if a seller's motivated? Are there any signs to look for?
But really quick, baseball fans, do you think you know who's going to hit a home run today? Well, FanDuel is giving you a chance to call your shot with daily dingers. Joining the action is easy. Just make your free pick on who's hitting a home run in their game. If you're right, you'll get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at extra winnings. And don't forget, you can make a free pick every single day during the MLB season. It's just another reason why FanDuel is the home for home runs. So are you ready to play your game today? Join all the action at FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com to play daily dingers and make your free pick on who's hitting a home run. Once again, that is FanDuel.com, or just click the link down below in the description. Play ball and swing for the fences on FanDuel, an official partner of the MLB. And as always, just make sure this comes out of your entertainment budget transparently. I do like sports betting, but I always make sure that it's just a little bit of fun money that I put on the side. It's not an investment. 21 plus select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, 18 plus DCKYWY, no purchase necessary, opt-in required, bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens, restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-MY-RESET, call 1-888-789-7777, visit ccpg.org/chat, Connecticut, visit mdgamblinghelp.org, Maryland, visit gamblinghelplinema.org, call 800-327-5050, Massachusetts, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY, text HOPE-NY, New York, call 1-877-770-7867, Louisiana.
How quickly could you tell if a seller's motivated? Are there any signs to look for?
If it's on the market, okay, I don't believe in all that off-market. Off-market, please. I ain't got time for off-market. I want something on the market. The seller's ready to sell, okay? I mean, you got every deal has a different story. The first question I ask a broker, well, I don't even ask this question. They tell me right off the bat, what's the story here? What's the story? There's a story behind every real estate deal. Is the partnership splitting up? Did the guy pass away and the family don't want it? Does the place need work? He doesn't want to fix it up. Does he have a problem managing it? There could be a million different reasons why it's selling. You got to find out the story behind why he's selling. And then you have to act accordingly. And then you got to come in and lowball the shit out of it and make sure you're buying it at the lowest price possible.
Do you ever walk away from a deal just so that they'll chase you?
I walked away from plenty of deals and they chased me back down.
Does that work? Is that a good strategy?
It happens because, I know this guy is not getting $150,000 a unit when his rents are only $1,200 or $1,300 a month. He's dreaming. Okay? He thinks he created his own lottery. It don't work that way. It's all numbers. It's all underwriting. So I'm going to say, listen, I can't pay him more than $100 a door. Simple as that. You won't hear from him. He'll go through his marketing process. The broker will come up with no offers, and he'll either move on to another broker, which is a waste of time, or he'll have to come down to reality. Okay? And a lot of times, he'll come back to reality. The broker will call me up and say, all right, he won't take you 100, but he'll take 110 if you will move quick and show him some hard money. I get my deals because I move quick. I get in there. I get all my inspections done right away. All right, I have bridge loan that I can do myself with a line of credit, so I don't need to wait on no banks, okay? And I can move quick, and quick money normally gets you the best deal.
What's the most insulting offer you've made that's been accepted?
I mean, I don't think there's anything. I mean, a lot of people say that, oh, he was insulted by your offer. This is business. This is numbers. This is not a personal.
But do you ever just throw out a number
I've
that it's
lowballed the shit out of stuff. I've lowballed the shit out of stuff, and I've lost them. Why? Because I didn't want to pay more. I've gone to my max. I always determine this is the maximum I can pay for a property to keep me in a safety zone that I feel safe in. Okay. I just offered $4.5 million on a 16-story empty building over here, not far from here. It was ruined by the flood. The broker said, listen, yeah, you're going to give him quick cash money, but I got other guys who are real players offering 6 and 8 and all that. I said, well, it's not for me. Place needs a $10 million rehab. I knew it for a fact. I already calculated. My son had to walk up 16 flights to the roof because the power is totally shut down in the building because of the flood. And we figured it out. We need $10 million. We need all new power. We need all new plumbing. We need, the hot water heater systems. We needed new elevators. We needed everything. We needed to fix up all the units, blah, 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 blah. We figured $10 million for parking lots, landscaping, all that. And I said, if I pay him more than 4.5 and I got to throw 10 million into it, I'm into it for 14.5. Well, it's only like 180 units in the small units. So it don't make sense. You got to set your comfortable price and not exceed it.
Do you ever buy anything you don't want just because it's a good price?
I mean, if it was a good price, then I should always have the option of flipping it. If I got it for a good price, I could always flip it. But, I mean, listen, I bought deals that maybe I shouldn't have bought it. I didn't, maybe because of the tax reasons. But I don't know. I mean, you really should never buy a deal that you're unhappy with. If you're not happy the day of closing, and you feel like you made a smart decision, you shouldn't be closing that deal.
What's the quickest you've ever flipped a property?
I've flipped properties. I've sold them before I even bought them.
So you like wholesaled it?
I bought a package of properties, and somebody wanted to buy one piece out of a 5-package deal. So when it came to closing, I bought it at a certain price, but then I let the other guy take over that piece at a higher price.
How much did you make on that deal?
Probably about 30 grand a door. It was about 20 doors. So I made about 600 grand. I've also flipped deals at when I was young, I would do foreclosures on the courthouse steps. That's the way they used to do them. We'd all stand on the courthouse steps and the property's going up for auction and the guy comes out from the county and he's taking bids and all that and we're all bidding against each other. And I would win properties in California. And as soon as the auction's over, the guy comes up to me and says, I should have overbidded you. I really wanted that place. And I was willing to pay X amount of dollars more. Here, give me the money. I wouldn't even take title to it.
Wow.
Give me the money. I tell the guy, put it in his name. I mean, there's always opportunities there, if you find the right deal.
So purchase price is the most important thing.
Most important thing. How much are you paying for that property? That's all that matters.
What do you think about using AI to evaluate deals?
AI.
What do you think?
That would BI, Ben's Intelligence. And you go to benmallah.com and get me on the phone and you can get some of Ben's AI.
That would actually be interesting.
BI, Ben's Intelligence.
I like that.
That's a good idea. So people are making, you have ChatGPT, they have other GPTs where you could put in all of your information, like how you analyze a deal, everything, and record for 3 hours straight. 5 hours, however
just
much
upload
it is.
all of your videos,
upload
by
everything,
the way.
and then ChatGPT can make a BI, and people can ask it questions, and it's like you're getting an answer from Ben.
We use AI a lot, especially with my son now when it comes to contracts and leases and things like that. It's actually killing the lawyers right now.
Really?
It's cutting down the lawyers' hours and their bills.
What about for evaluating cash flow? It's like, what's a good price to pay for this? Is it accurate in comping?
I don't know. When it comes to cash and money, I don't trust anybody but my own self and a calculator and a pen. I'll sit there, old school, and I'll write down how much money is this place going to bring in a month, realistically? What are my costs going to be? Okay? I'm going to tell you, you can do all the underwriting in the world, and I'm always right. And my son just he likes to put in the numbers and do all the calculations and spreadsheets and all the stuff, and it's great. He gets it to the penny almost. Me, the no-fail, sure way of being safe. If you're dealing with 100-plus unit buildings, okay, this really doesn't work as well. It's too safe for less than 100 units because less than 100 units typically don't have the same expenses. Okay, but for 100-plus units, it's real simple. You figure out what your gross rents are. Let's say the place is making you $1 million a year gross rents, right? Okay, that's reasonable. $1 million a year. You cut it in half. Half your money is going to all your expenses, include your property taxes and insurance. Half the money is gone to operate. That's the way it typically works. Then you have to calculate your debt. So you got $1 million coming in, $500,000 to run the place. Then you got to figure out how much debt you're taking on and what the interest payment's going to be to come off that $500,000. Then that's going to be your return. It's always going to be so close, it's going to blow you away.
They say for single-family homes, it's usually about 15%.
15 is a lot. Yeah, single-family homes, smaller buildings, it don't work. You have less expenses. You don't use the 50% rule.
Is that what you
only use the 50% rule because now
I don't know what
you got to understand. The 50% rule works for 100 plus units because you have managers, you have maintenance, you got a payroll, you got grounds, you got all these expenses that you won't have with a single family house. Single family house is really nothing. You collect the rent, and if something fixes, you send somebody over to unstop a toilet. Typically, you can make the tenant take care of their own grounds if it's a single family house. You don't pay no utilities. It's all on the tenant. There are no expenses, but single family houses don't cash flow. They're the worst investment you can ever buy for cash flow. You flip single-family houses. You buy them, you fix them. You flip them. Don't ever buy a house for cash flow. It's stupid. It makes no sense. I've never seen it make sense. And then some people end up with a ton of them. Now you sit with all these single-family homes. You're not going to be able to package them together and sell them. Very rare. Okay? Very, very rare. You have to sell them individually. And they're not going to cash flow, especially if you got debt on them. And if they don't have debt on them, you're going to get a return.
Now, a lot of people say in terms of single family that we are in a housing crisis, but there does seem to be a lot of inventory right now on the market for single family homes.
Because nobody's buying houses right now. Why? Because they don't, it doesn't fit their budget at 6.5% interest rate for the house they want. They got to pay 6.5% interest rate. They got to pay principal. They got to pay insurance. They got to pay taxes. Now is the time to rent.
So
now is definitely the time to rent.
So what are you telling people when they say, should I buy a house right now?
I mean, if your budget can handle it and your lifestyle requires it, or it's a necessity, and you can handle it, then yeah, you always buy a house if you can afford it because it's a personal thing. It's not really an investment. Houses are not investments. Typically, yeah, you buy a house and you live in it for 5 years. It typically appreciates. You make some money. After 2 years, you don't have to pay no capital gains tax up to $250,000 or $500,000 if you're married. It works. But it's not an investment, really. Houses are personal purchase. And never buy them for investment unless you're flipping it. I mean, typically the smartest thing to do is you buy a house and you improve it. Because there's a reason why a house is not selling too. Okay, because there's something wrong with that house. Maybe it doesn't have enough bathrooms. Maybe it's too small square footage. You come in and add value to the house. Maybe it needs to be fixed up. Whatever the story is there a solution to the fix? You come up with the solution. Do the numbers make sense based on what you're buying, based on what you're spending and improving, and what the market will pay for it? And you want to be below the market so you can sell it quick.
This is the first time, though, that I've ever seen it where people are getting less than the price that they spent fixing it up. Because it seems like the prices right now for materials and labor, people are overspending. So they might put, I've seen $500,000 into a property, but they might only get back $375,000, $400,000. So they're taking a loss
things
fixing it up.
Nobody knew that the price of gas was going to go to $5 a gallon. Okay, that affects every aspect of our human life. Everything you need is tied to oil. Because the cost of making stuff, the cost of shipping stuff. So now, because the price of that went up, the price of everything goes up. You have to, nobody has a crystal ball.
This is what I thought that would really help the housing market. I wish they do this. Imagine if they said, for people that build a house in the next 10 years, if you build, your profits could be tax-free. Imagine how many people would build a house everywhere they could. It seems like that would completely solve the housing shortage. If they just
about profits for who? Somebody buying them just to sell it?
Yes, a builder adding a new housing unit onto the market. If you're able to add, if you take the risk, the time, the capital.
How's that going to help anybody except make the builders more money?
Because it adds more supply into the market. More supply should lower the prices.
Well, it's not so much. I mean, listen, the cost of building is not cheap. There are so many developments right now. I bet you if we looked at it, you go to Lennar's or you go to all these places, I'm sure they got plenty of developments where they can't sell those houses and they already built them or they had plans to build them. Stop kicking me.
Jack.
I didn't know that was your foot. Yeah.
You have a bite to eat?
Yeah.
All right, let's have a bite to eat.
Right now?
Sure, if you're hungry. Yeah, we could take it.
I mean, we'll eat quick and then we'll knock it out.
All right.
What time you guys got to get out of here?
We don't. Today's your day.
I mean, what do you want to talk about? Banking?
Why is banking the most important thing if you're trying to build wealth then? Like what? This seems like
because you need their money. You got enough money to buy a piece of real estate? No, average person don't. You got it. The bank is your best friend in the world. Your bank comes before your wife.
Really? So if your banker calls at the same time as your wife, which one do you pick up?
The banker. My wife knows. Well, banker calls, done. Nobody's more important than your banker.
Okay, what about your wife and your banker both want to go out on a Saturday night, 9 p.m., who has priority?
Typically, bankers, you don't have to take out on dates.
It's not a date. It's just a business meeting. They just say, hey, Ben, I want to...
Yeah, you don't do banking after hours. You do lunch meetings, stuff like that. But the point I understand trying to make is, if you're in real estate, banking is the most important person in your life is your banker.
So if you're trying to develop a relationship with a bank, do you pick a specific bank or do you try to have relationships with multiple banks? Do you get to a point where you don't shop the rate they provide you anymore?
You'll get to a point where you don't need to shop around. But at first, you got to kind of see who's giving you the best deals. And whoever gives you the best deals, the best rates, the most LTV, you know what LTV is? Loan to value. The people that are going to make your life easiest with the best terms, the best rates, then you'll end up throwing more stuff their way. Of course, it's common sense. But, I used to work with 10 different banks. Now I only work with one.
Who's the best bank?
In my world, B of A.
Bank of America?
Biggest bank in the country, in the world, I think.
Why not Chase or
Listen,
Wells Fargo?
I've dealt with Wells Fargo. I've dealt with Chase. I dealt with them all. The problem is, when you get to my level, you need to have a brokerage relationship and a banking relationship. So you need two companies, or basically B of A is the parent company. B of A owns Merrill Lynch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Merrill Lynch knows the brokerage. B of A knows the banking, right? So basically, my broker technically works for B of A because he works for Merrill Lynch. Merrill Lynch is under B of A. They tell Merrill Lynch what to do and control everything. It's a relationship. The broker goes to bat for me to get my loans. Why? Because I'm his client. And the more money I make, the more money goes in his brokerage, the bigger he is. It's all ties together. But I've actually believe I made it to the top level. I've been with every big shot bank there is. Okay. And I'm going to tell you, they've been the best and easiest to me. Not only that, when you have that kind of money to be in a brokerage, wealth management side, you're basically getting a lot of help because these people care about you. They care. They have to care because your well-being is their well-being. Okay? If you make more money goes into the brokerage. And they get credit for all the loans they throw B of A through the brokerage. Everybody's making money.
That sounds very similar to my second loan that I got. The first loan I got, I shopped it around with like 10 different places, got a really good loan at 2.875 during COVID. And then now I bought last year. And the problem was I shopped it around. First of all, couldn't get qualified because like YouTuber income is very hard to show. But I shopped it around a bunch of different places. I was getting 6.5%, 6.75%. And the best rate I got was actually through my brokerage. So I used Schwab.
Did you tie your assets up to get the loan?
I actually don't think that I did. I think I was able to leverage my relationship.
He got a discount. He got a discount because of the assets with Schwab.
I don't have to keep my assets there.
No.
It just showed because I was also having trouble qualifying, but having assets in Schwab, I was able to use
tax returns?
What?
You don't do tax returns?
Do
you file tax returns?
Oh, yeah. The problem, but as an entrepreneur, you have like weird money flows and routing and stuff like that. And this was confusing them and it wasn't like getting their seal of approval. And so I had to shop it with Schwab, and Schwab has Rocket Mortgage. That's like their Rocket Mortgage's parent company is Schwab.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was able to get the best deal by miles actually using the brokerage.
There you go. It's all about relationships.
So if someone's just starting, where do they begin? Do they go to Bank of America?
Credit unions?
They just like...
Listen, when you first start, it's a whole different picture.
Yeah.
You go wherever you can get in. Okay? Because if you just start now, you're not going to walk into the bank like a big shot and want to get a loan. It's not going to happen. Okay? Like I said, it goes back to risk. If you're still a high-risk person, then, you're going to have to shop around. You should definitely, if you're a first-time buyer, you should be doing FHA with low money down and the government backing a percentage of that loan. Okay? Typically, most people start with FHA when they want to buy 1 to 4 units. That's what I think. But when you first start out, you just got to shop around, get the best rate, like we all did. I used to borrow from hard money guys when I was in my 20s. Why? Because no bank would loan to me. And then once I got established and I made a few bucks, then I went to the D paper. Then I moved up to the C paper. As I move up the ladder, the interest rate comes down and the terms get better, and then I eventually went to B and now I'm at A. B of A.
So why is it that you want to do so much consulting? I'm curious why you enjoy it so much.
To help other people, you have to do it to understand it. Okay, when I get off the phone with somebody knowing that I made an impact in their life and I helped them, I get a certain human feeling that money can't buy it. You can't buy that kind of feeling. It's just like I felt that I really did something in life. I accomplished something to help other people while I was on this planet. Okay, I know it's the right thing to do. Okay, it's like religion. Some people believe, in the religious part of it, they get some kind of special religious feeling. I get a great feeling by knowing that I helped people while I was here. I did it and I showed them how to do it, and helping people improve their lives. If the whole world acted like that, it would be a beautiful, peaceful world. I mean, honestly, helping people that generally just want to improve the quality of life. I came from nothing, from the most dangerous neighborhoods in the world. I should have been dead or locked away in jail growing up in New York back in the 70s and 80s. And luckily, the Army saved my life. And I just know that helping other people is the right way of living. That's the way humans should live. Always try to, I'm not saying give away shit. I'm not saying, helping people help themselves. That's the greatest thing in the world, because then they don't need you.
It's interesting to me because when we're taking breaks between the podcast, the one thing you get so excited about, you just want to talk about is the consulting.
I like
Even
it.
when we're just hanging out,
I like
you want to talk about
people
consulting.
about their problems and helping them resolve their problems or putting together a plan that they're going to be successful. I'm passionate about that, okay? And not a lot of people, like I said, I've had some sports guys, come and tell me, you're really lucky. We go out there, we entertain and we score and people clap and applaud, but you're actually helping people. I mean, what greater gift is that in life than that, to help the next person come up and enjoy their life and live a better life? It just makes everybody happy when everybody's doing well, doesn't it?
Why don't you write a book?
I don't know how. I never went to high school.
You don't have to write it, though. You could have someone else write your book.
Ghostwriter. I need a ghostwriter.
Yeah, you could have someone who just follows you around for a year.
But I have to find the right person and sit there and go through my life story with them, and it's fine. I mean, there's a lot of things I could do, but, I need the right people to help me.
I think
you can't do everything in life.
You could make, I think, one of the best real estate, money, wealth books in existence.
I mean, listen, to me, it's just something that I really enjoy. If I could stop even being in real estate tomorrow and just help other people, I would definitely love doing that. Plus, I could do it, from anywhere. So it's a great thing. Imagine if the whole world just had that, if all the successful people in the world helped other people. It's like the old saying, the oldest saying in the world, give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Give the man a fishing pole, he eats for life. You ever heard that before?
Yeah.
All right, so there you go. It's perfect sense. Teach people how to help themselves. Get them a push to where they can help themselves and they can grow as big as they want. That's what you should do in life. Now, it's up to them how big they want to grow. But if you help them, at least they can't say nobody ever tried to help them.
How do you know who is worth helping and who is not?
You can tell by, they explain their situation. The average guy calls me up. He tells me, he's married, he's not married, he's got kids, he owns a house, he doesn't own a house, he's got this much in the bank, this is what his annual salary is. What do I do? And we sit down and we go over your options. I don't tell him what to do. I just tell him what his options are, what he could do if he applied himself, and what I would do if I was in his shoes. Like all these young guys in college. I got a big audience of college kids. That's what my audience is. I've even talked to colleges, and I tell every one of these young guys in college or girls, get your real estate license while you're in college. Okay? You're already going to school. What's one more course online going to hurt? Take the course online, take the 4-hour test, right? And it's a license to make money. But not only is it a license to make money, it's going to put you in a circle of people that are in real estate. You got that license, you can walk into a busy brokerage that's doing deals. You could hang your license there. You latch on to a team or other people who are seasoned in real estate. You learn from the ground up, and you're in it. You're in the mix. That's how we say in the street. You got to get in the mix. It puts you around what's happening if you're serious about being in real estate. And once you learn to sell for other people, then you end up buying your own. Or, in my case, I went the management route. I didn't go the sales route. I went the management route. I started managing other people's properties, and then if you can manage other people's properties, you could manage yourself, your own, as long as you had the money to buy the property. So my entrance to real estate was management. People would pay me to manage their properties, and I did very well. Then I just moved on to ownership. I mean, it's up to the person to just take that ride and drive that car in the direction they want to go. But pushing people, giving them some gas to do it, that's what is a great thing to do. Because once they get the gas in the car and they start the car and they start driving and they start traveling and accumulating real estate assets and making money, I mean, they're on their way to a great life. Listen, we all know, or maybe he doesn't know. I know you know. Listen, going through life without money sucks. Let's face it. I feel sorry for all the people that have to go to bed at night wondering how the hell are they going to pay their bills. Do you know what the hell I pay? I'm not kidding you. I pay 5, 6, 7, 8 kids. I pay for 8 kids to go to private school.
How much is
Each
that?
kid is over $30,000 a year.
Ooh.
The ones in college, oh my God, that's going to jack me up with room and board to 50 or 60. Okay? I mean, you want to, making money, it's part of our life. That's our system. It's part of being human and, in our world. Okay? We don't live out in the woods. We're not hunters. We're not killing for our food. Having money does make your life easier. Knowing that you got enough money to pay your bills, get your kids a good education, live in a decent house, not worry about your car breaking down, you can't fix it. Insurance, you know how much expensive it is to live these days? It's crazy. I don't know how my employees do it. Okay? They got rent, they got utilities, they got cars, they got clothes, they got food. It costs a fortune to live these days. So anything I can do to help people make their lives easier and better by making money is a great thing. And like I said, it would be so great if everybody thought that way and everybody tried to help other people get ahead. People that want to get ahead, they got to have what they want. You can't waste your time with somebody that just doesn't want it or have the drive.
What do you say to people, though, that want to tax you more?
Listen, running a country is running a business. We need leaders in charge that are more like accountants. That's what we need. We need accountants to be politicians because it's all about money. Like DeSantis is talking about, giving a bunch of property tax relief.
Mhm.
Well, if the counties can handle it and not collect as much as they're collecting because they have a surplus, I see them doing a lot of stuff that I don't know. The problem is people in politics are not business people. That's the biggest problem we got with politics. Okay. And then when we do get a business person, we get some of the, I'm going to say it, cuckoos, because why we can't find good leaders in politics?
Why?
Because nobody wants the job because of all the bureaucratic bullshit and all the people in politics that don't know about business, and they all got their wacko ideas on how things should be. They don't just look at what makes sense. Okay, what is the make sense that we need to do here that is just normal and pretty much is fair to everybody. Okay, taxes. Listen, I got to pay 37% of all the money I make and earn. Okay. I think that's a bit high. But the first thing we need to do is let's look and have a real budget. Okay? Where are we spending money at? Where are we wasting money at? But nobody wants the job because there's too much bullshit that goes on. All the CEOs of companies, successful companies, they wouldn't touch politics with a 10-foot pole because you got all the people that don't belong in politics because they just want to have a ride the system job and they want to, push their ideas on you and it's how they think things should go, listen, and I'm sorry to say, people who are not successful do not belong in politics. If you never ran a business and you never created anything and you never had any experience running anything, with employees, and then you shouldn't be in politics.
I would vote for you. Would you ever run?
Never. Because there's too many cuckoos. I tried to get the downtown Clearwater, right? It's occupied by the Scientologists. It's a fact. I'm not talking bad about them. Yeah. It's a fact. They bought up all the real estate, and everybody's crying, oh, they own everything. Oh, they own everything. Well, you let them. Now, we don't have no tourism, and downtown is dead, okay? Well, they're always crying about that. Everybody's about it. Well, do something about it, okay? I went to the mayor, and I said, what we need it's across from the beach. The beach is here, we get tourism, but on the downtown side, on the bay side, we get no tourism. And we have this beautiful waterfront. I said, I brought in the designs and everything. Let me put a Ferris wheel right here on the waterfront. The kind that's air-conditioned, good all year round. It'll be a great draw. And people will come to Ferris wheel, just like in Orlando. They'll come to the restaurants. They'll come to all the stores and shops around there, and we'll create a buzz. Okay? Number one, the mayor straight out told me he doesn't have the power to approve it. Great idea, but he doesn't. I was going to pay for it. All they do is give me a little piece of land to lease. I would have bought it there. I would have even done shared profiting with them, profit sharing with them. He says, well, this city has a no power mayor. The mayor can't even make a decision. He has to go in front of like 7 or 8 board members. And these people aren't qualified to run an ice cream store. I've seen them. They've never done nothing their whole life but maybe a government job, and they had no clue about business. They had no vision of the future. All they want to do is bitch and complain about everything. We have the wrong people in politics. That's the problem. We don't have educated business people.
Is this ever going to change?
Unfortunately, the way our society is, we got half the country that are doers and half the country that are just want to ride the wave.
We got doers and takers.
You got Democrats, you got Republicans, and then you have your cuckoo, whatever. What do you call the other people? Anyway, the point is this. Everybody needs to come together and just do what makes sense and be fair to everybody. Of course, we need services. We need police. We need fire. We need the roads. We need everything. Schools. It takes a lot of money to run a place. Yes, you need taxes. Absolutely, positively, we have to have taxes. But do it reasonable. Do it where you get what you need. All this waste that goes on. We got people. How many people in this country have jobs that we probably don't even need in politics or in bureaucrats? I mean, I'm just saying it. It's just with technology, These people should be more in private sector. Private sector is what makes this country run. Without private sector, you got nothing. You wouldn't have government without private sector, right? Private sector employs the people and then gives the money to the government, and then the government employs people because they're getting the money from the private sector. But, it starts with the public, and we just got to get rid of all these people running for office that just don't belong there.
Do you think it's easier than ever right now to get rich?
Hey, by the way, really quick, if you want extra content just like this, as well as early access and a bonus post show posted every single week, feel free to join as a channel member to get immediate access to all of that, as well as early access to everything else that we post, along with priority responses to all of your comments. So if that sounds cool, feel free to join. Would love to have you on board. Thanks so much. We'll get back to the podcast now.
Do you think it's easier than ever right now to get rich?
I think it's always easy to get rich if you find what you really have a passion for doing and have a good plan. I think, listen, I get consult calls from kids. They're in their 20s. They're making millions. E-commerce. They don't even touch the product. I don't know much about e-commerce, but they're making millions of dollars online. With technology, I think it's even easier today. But if you have a passion for something, you're real serious about it, and it has the potential to make you rich, the world needs everything.
So what do you think then is the main thing that's stopping people, if it's easier than ever to get rich right now, from becoming rich?
There's a lot of people getting rich, and then there's a lot of people that just want to sit on their and don't have the drive, and that's fine. I don't knock these people. Listen, I was told a long time ago, I think the guy, he told me, when I failed at whatever shitty job I had, he says, well, don't worry, the world needs dishwashers. It's true, but you have to stay a dishwasher your whole life? No. Maybe you make it up to sous chef. Maybe you make it up to chef. I don't know. Depends on the individual. Not everybody's cut out to be rich. That's a fact. You got to have that burning desire inside of you. Just like, I don't know about you, but he has it, where he knows he wants to get up every morning, and he wants to create, and he wants to grow, and he wants to be wealthier. That's the reward. Getting rich is the reward for hard work. You work hard, you get rewarded.
So you think the main obstacle in becoming rich then is mostly just a motivation and like a want? How badly do you want
it? It's a frame of mind, okay? It's a frame of mind. If you have your frame of mind, and you don't waste your time with nonsense. If you have a logical frame of mind, it says, okay, if I do this, this, and this, it's going to get me to this point here. It's just like if I get off my ass, like I tell everybody that calls me, get off your ass and get an agent to help you look for the deals that you can afford. Okay? Why not? Why? Sitting around talking about buying something or looking on your own. Why? Get a professional to help you. Find a tool that's going to help you. Find an agent. And then if you don't like the agent, find another one that's dedicated and motivated to finding you the type of real estate that you want to buy and you can afford. Okay, that understands what you're looking for, what you're trying to accomplish. Okay, it's like when I sit down with lawyers, accountants, wealth managers, bankers, I got to really feel that when I'm talking to you and we're discussing my situation, that you understand what I'm trying to accomplish and you're going to be instrumental in helping me accomplish that. Okay, you got to get with people that are on the same page, and then you got to just keep moving forward. Get your ass out there, get a list from your realtor, look at all the deals in your area, draw a circle on a map, all right, in your price range, understand the market, and look for opportunity.
Is real estate still one of the easiest ways to build wealth?
It's all I know. I don't know how to make money doing anything else. Anything else I ever tried or really barely tried in life, I never put forth the effort. Real estate's worked for me. That's why I like to talk to people and help them with real estate, because I know from real life experience that it's helped me. And I am more than happy to share that knowledge and share my experiences with other people so it can help them. Right here. I created that. Oh, I banged. I created this. It was a thought. I said, you know what? I looked at a Mustang one day and I said, that's a boxy car. That would make a cool pool table if we just whack off the roof, right? And we did it. I put together the right people that had the right skills. This one's a Camaro, by the way.
Mhm.
And it was just something I wanted to have for myself. What happened? It came out so great that we started making them and selling them. I shipped these all over the world. I shipped these to Dubai. I shipped them all over, and it has real parts from cars. This is real. This is real. Emblems are real. Lights are real. We make this. We use a good table, and we make it and it comes in pieces and we have it put together, and Tommy Hilfiger bought one from us. Okay.
How much was it?
How much?
How much?
I mean, they start at the bottom, and I think $15,000, which is not a lot for, this is a real item. And this is quality. The paint, the table, the fiberglass, the parts. We have a license from GM and Ford to produce these. I didn't have the time to put one in a trailer, go to all the classic car shows, like, Mecum,
Barrett
Jackson's, travel around the country. I didn't hire salesmen. I didn't market it. So, we sell quite a few, but nowhere near the level it could have been if I would have put my heart and soul into it. But I couldn't, because real estate is where I need to put my heart and soul in, because real estate is big numbers. Big numbers. It's very, very possible. I could go out tomorrow. I could buy a deal for $10 million, and I could turn it into $15 million. In real estate, that's not hard to do if you apply yourself. So I focused on that. But my dream in life was to sell car pool tables. Step right up, hitting the ball at the big show, people flocking around. Look at that. It's a car and a pool table. The ultimate man cave toy to have.
Are you good at pool?
I used to be in the Army. Yeah, in the Army I was good. Now I haven't played for a while.
So
practice. You got to practice.
So what do you do all day with your time these days?
I wake up in the morning. My phone starts ringing at 8 o'clock in the morning. Brokers are calling me. I got all kinds of brokers calling me. What's the latest deal? What are we working on? What are we writing an offer on? I'm talking to bankers. I got 3, 4 different refinances going on right now. I'm talking to, management. I got to go through all my assets in my head, make sure I'm on top of everything that needs to be done. The school we bought. When I bought that school, the university, part of the deal was I have to put on a new roof on that place. The seller gave me a credit for it, but I have to get on the phone. I got to get bids on the roof. I got to get a roofer lined up to get that done. We need $1 million worth of AC work that was promised to the tenant to be done. I got to get bids on that and get that job cooking. I got to go through my whole portfolio. I'm managing a whole bunch of assets, and I got to be on top of everything those properties need, and whether it's financing, whether it's improvements, rehab, whatever it is, you got to be on top of everything, and then I try to, take time out, and he books consulting calls, which I probably do better off in the evening time when the day is kind of slowed down. I'm on the phone with my lawyer every day. I'm on the phone dealing with my 1031s. I'm dealing with all kinds of stuff.
Do you enjoy that?
I mean, it's my life. It's my career. Do I enjoy it? I enjoy it when I'm productive. I like at the end of the day to think back and say, okay, what did I get done today? That's what I really need to have, that feeling. I hate the day to go by and I didn't really get done. To me, that's depressing. I like to, time management is very important. Me and Aaron drove around all the properties. We took pictures of everything that we needed to be done. He wrote up a big fancy report. We emailed it out to all the people that were, pertained to. We need this done. We need that done. We want that fixed. We want that painted. We need hotel rooms built over here. What's going on with the permit? Do we have all the subs lined up to build out? I mean, it's managing a portfolio. That's what I do. Run a portfolio and make sure every asset gets the proper attention to maintain that asset and make it grow, or maintain it.
What is the greatest success in your life?
The greatest success in my life was being able to sit here with Jack and do a podcast. I mean,
well, I'm glad to give you that success.
Mine too.
Tomorrow,
you're welcome.
It is.
If I dropped dead tomorrow, I could say I sat at the table in my house, my table with Jack, and did a podcast.
Well, I'm honored. Thank you.
How do you like the new boat?
It's a great boat. I love it, But, that requires management too. I got a captain, and then we need somebody to help him a lot of times. a mate. We got repairs that have to be done all the time. We got to maintain it. It needs all kinds of stuff done, and I pretty much have to manage it. He helps me and does it, but I got to oversee and make sure everything's being taken care of. We're not overspending. If we go on a trip, we got to hire a stew. We got to stock the boat. We got to plan where we're going to go. We got to get dockage here. We got to get fuel delivered. I mean, I have the captain that helps me do all that, but I still got to be involved. He has something that needs to be repaired. Is this the best, cheapest way of repairing it?
Sounds stressful. How much is it?
Everything in life is stressful if you want to really take it to that level. Could I hire somebody to handle all that? Yes, but I like to be involved. This way I know people do make mistakes when it's not their money. I'm not saying I don't trust people with money, but I like to, monitor it, and make sure that everything is right. Just like I told you about the Rolls-Royce story. If I would have told somebody that worked for me, an assistant, hey, get that Rolls fixed, they would have took it to the dealer, it would have cost $40,000, and there you go. But no, I thought about other ways and other alternatives and options, and it cost me $4,000. Saving money is making money.
Is the bigger yacht worth it?
I mean, the yacht that I have now it has different features than the yacht you were on. Like this one has bow seating, real bow seating with tables and in the very front. This one has the on-deck master, so I don't have to hurt my knees going down the stairs. This one's got a big open top deck. I mean, it's a step up. I mean, yeah, I don't need a $20 or $30 million yacht, because then you need a big crew and then you have a tremendous amount of maintenance and expenses. That's not my lifestyle. My lifestyle is basically what I got now, 92, maybe push it to 100 one day, and that's good enough for me. But everybody has their own comfort zone. My comfort zone is the boat I got now. I did buy it right. Maybe I'll sell it. Maybe I'll get something, a little faster, a little newer if there's something out there. I don't know. But I like to be in my comfort zone.
What's something that I could improve on?
High platform shoes.
Okay.
I think the extra few inches will make a big difference in your life.
Okay.
What's something I can improve on?
I don't think it's much hope for you.
So I'm already perfect.
The thing is, you can't go any lower.
No, I don't want to pick on you too much. I mean, listen, everybody really knows what they need to improve in their life. I know I'm overweight. I know I smoke. Okay. I mean, but am I doing anything about it? Am I changing? Everybody knows what part of their life they need to improve. It's just a matter of doing it.
You think those are the two main things for you?
Me, health and smoking, those are two things that are going to kill me quicker.
What do you think if you were to really, like you said,
we're only here for a short period of time.
Your favorite phrase, gun to your head.
Gun to your head?
Obviously mute the G word.
Yeah.
What do you think is the first thing that comes up that you need to improve on?
Probably getting over spending anxiety. That's what it is. I get a lot of anxiety spending money.
What is the last thing you got anxious spending money on?
I didn't buy, it sounds so bad. It sounds awful when I say this, but there was a SpongeBob animation cell that I really wanted to buy, and I set a price for myself where if it goes beyond that, I'm not going to bid on it. I really wanted the thing. And I lost it over like $150. This is dumb. But
why do you regret it?
Because it was a great piece of SpongeBob art. It's from the first season. It's a master key cell of SpongeBob himself.
Would you pay $300 right now to have it?
Well, it's extra.
Oh, yeah, extra.
Yeah, I would.
Listen, I used to have a lot of problems spending money too. I always had to buy stuff for cheap, everything. And now, once you get to a level that you've never been at before, now you have to enjoy your life too. You do, within moderation. It's like, me and my wife and the kid were sitting in a car last night. I said, you know what? We've traveled a lot, but I've never been to Monaco. And let me tell you something. If I open up my wealth management account on any given day, it could be up or down by millions of dollars. Not a lot of millions, but a few. Depending on the market. Bonds fluctuate. Values fluctuate. I do have stocks that I let them manage. Okay? So if my account can fluctuate by millions of dollars a day, and it doesn't really change my life whether it does or not, is it really going to matter if I blow $50,000 to go to Monaco? It's not going to change my life. It's not going to affect me, not one single penny. If I saw $50,000 less in my account tomorrow, it has no impact on my life. Is it going to make me and my wife and my kid and family a lifetime rememberable experience? Yes. So you got to spend money when it comes to quality of life, and if it's not going to hurt you. You also went out and bought a Ford GT. How much you pay for that?
$306, and it's worth $500,000 now.
How much you pay for it?
$306,000.
Sell it.
No. Have you seen the prices of these things lately?
I think you're at a height.
Oh, no. They're only going higher. No.
When you bought it, you didn't buy it as an investment, did you? You didn't buy it as an investment.
I did buy it.
I know. I walked into the dealership, and I could have bought the same car.
You didn't listen. Why did
I couldn't fit in it. I was too fat.
Ben, where are you invested?
Okay, let me explain to you what I did. I used to be a day trader. I got my ass handed to me in a crash when you guys were still selling in a Boy Scout.
Was that
you were doing.
Was that the 1920s crash?
No, 2008. Anyway, the point is this: you can't do everything in life. All right, you got to pick something and do it the best you can. You can dib and dab a little, but you know what I did goes back to relationships. Okay, I let the experts do it. So basically, my relationship with Merrill Lynch is, yes, I'm mostly in tax-free Muni bonds. That's where I like to be at because it's safe, and I can borrow against it, and it's tax-free.
Mm-hmm.
All the interest on that 5% tax-free is really like 8 or 9% to me. But I give them a piece, I don't know, whatever it is, 30 million, whatever it is. And they have their models where they have a team that discusses what's going on in the market, where they think that they should be investing in, what's good, what should they sell. They got like a dozen people that sit around a table and discuss this like pretty often. And then they manage their customers' money, which they get a very, a reasonable fee for. Maybe, I don't know. It's not much.
It's probably but don't you think you could achieve the same thing just buying an index fund?
I mean, yes, you can do that, but I ain't got time to worry about any of that. Because the reason why I'm successful in real estate is because I'm focused on what I know I can do. Okay? Stock market investing, leave it to the experts. But you got to be with the right experts. And they're going to have their ups and downs. But I believe in the past couple of years, they've doubled my money. I mean, I know it for a fact. I didn't give them 20 or 30. Okay? I think I gave them half of that 2 years ago.
You gave them $15 million and they got you 30?
I think
the market's up a lot, though.
I think it was like really,
the market's doubled.
Honestly, to be honest with you, I think it went from 10 to 25. A couple of years. Everybody's done well in the market recently, especially with tech. So, listen, everybody's got their own lifestyle, their own time management. My son likes stocks. I let him play with my little Edge account. They have what they call an Edge account where I can trade myself. I let him play around with that because he showed an interest.
Mm-hmm.
But, does he have an interest or is he just like gambling? That's the question when it comes to stocks. Are you going to do your homework? Are you going to look at the news? Listen, I was offered SpaceX by Merrill Lynch at its IPO 135, and I should have bought it. But I was busy that day with real estate, so I didn't buy it. Then I saw the thing go right up to 200.
Yeah.
And I said, I should have done something. But I didn't. IPOs are very rare lately. And then it came back down. I don't know where it's at now.
155.
150. Okay. So whatever. It goes up and down. Listen,
35.
I got no time to be on a roller coaster. The only way I could trade stocks is if I sat in that office and watched CNBC all day long and kept doing research.
Absolutely.
Oh my God! Look at the price yesterday. I looked at the price to see.
What is the
Jack's
price?
always
The
on
price
his
yesterday
phone.
was 137.
No, it wasn't. No. Go back more than a day. Go back more than a day. It was 155.
Yesterday it was 137.
Keep going. Keep going back.
That was several days ago.
No, it wasn't. Right there. That's when I was looking. What day is that?
July 9th, and today is July 15th. That was a week ago.
There's no way.
What is it now?
That was a week ago.
135.
Okay, so it's back to the IPO price.
Holy crap!
I'm just saying.
the
How do
reason
you just
why-
write off
listen,
what I say
let's
without
be
having
honest.
any idea what
Okay,
you're talking
it's the last thing I looked at. It's
Apparently, you need to look at things a
here's the
little
thing.
more
But
often.
let's
It
be
trades
honest.
during the day.
Last
Trades
thing you
during the
looked
day.
at was a week ago.
Tell me if you agree or disagree.
It did not trade during the day.
Okay,
I'll show you
the
a
people-
screenshot.
The people that are in the stock market, serious players, serious stockbrokers that are doing all this trading, okay, don't you think it's like a game you're playing when you're one of them? Okay? Things go up, things go down. They dry. I always have this. I always think I always had this conspiracy theory about the stock market. I could be wrong, but I think they all kind of know what they're doing. When something comes out, they buy the out of it, drive the price up, and then when it goes up to the price they want, they sell it, take money off the table, and they have their own system of making money. Okay, I really believe that. And I don't think they even communicate with each other. They don't have to. They just all know that, yes, IPO comes out, everybody's emotional. Ooh, it's SpaceX. He's a trillionaire now, blah, blah, blah. That thing goes through the roof to 220, and it's all hype. There's nothing. The problem I have with the stock market is it's not logic-based. If you look at their income, there are companies that the stocks go through the roof based on speculation of the future. Okay, there's so many companies that don't make a dime and their stock keeps going up. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
I don't believe in that. I mean, yes, it's just a whole nother world that I can't be in. If I was in that world, I have to be in that office every day while the stock market's open, trading like I've done.
You don't have to. You just
buy. When the stock market's not open, I got to be doing research.
You just buy an index fund, and you average 6 to 8% a year.
Right, let's say
20 years.
Well, not necessarily. Index funds go down.
They do.
What about airlines? Airlines are getting crushed right now.
Yeah, but the
price of fuel. They're going out of business.
But if you look at the global stock market, like a big fund that covers the global stock market, even if airlines go down, something else will take its place.
Tell us a fund to invest in.
VTI, VOO. The Vanguard Index Funds.
All right. You're happy with it? You recommend it? I believe it. They got tons of people behind that making the decisions. They're experts.
They might have them invested more aggressively in a lot of tech. The Mag 7. I'm just saying an index. Like, I wouldn't even be doing that.
I've lost money on BlackRock or Blackstone. One of the two.
Probably BlackRock.
Because they had some fund that, was speculative, too speculative on startups.
But if you owned BlackRock itself, the company itself has done incredibly well.
It's true. If everybody should do their homework and get their comfort zone and invest where they want. But there's no way that I could sit here and start buying individual stocks on a daily basis. It would drive me nuts. But I have to totally.
But here's what you're doing.
My real estate portfolio will go down.
Your Muni bond, because we're invested in the same one.
Nothing. That's a piece of.
But
it's a walk in the park.
But I'm saying the reason it's a walk in the park is because that Muni bond that you bought is a collection of bonds.
The fund.
The fund is.
Yes.
So the index fund would be the same thing of stocks.
Yeah, but the Muni bonds fund is only Muni bonds.
Correct.
Muni bonds, and I know somebody's going to say I'm wrong because there have been very, very, very minuscule occasions. Don't fail unless you go to Puerto Rico. Muni bonds don't fail. They may go down. They're tied to interest rates.
Yes.
But at the end, you're going to get paid back. Okay. So I like muni bonds because I believe in the government. I believe in the municipality's not going to, fault on a debt. And 5% tax-free to me, like I said, it wasn't always 5%. When interest rates are really low, you're only getting 3%. Okay, so I'm upside down in some of those muni bonds, but who cares? At the end of the day, I get my money back, and it's tax-free income. But right now, if I buy a muni bond for 5%, in fact, I bought $1 million one yesterday, I know I'm getting $50,000 a year tax-free, and I could borrow up to $900,000 at like 3% if I want to borrow against it, or 3.5%. It works for me. It may not work for everybody else, but everybody's got to figure out what works for them. That's it. But, stock trading is something you got to be totally into if you're going to do it with real money. I used to go to bed at night and sometimes wake up in the morning and lose millions, and it would crush me. It would drive me nuts. I can't do it. I don't have the tolerance for that.
That's why I stick with index funds. You're not going to lose millions. You might be down the worst in a day. The worst might be like a few percent, 5%.
If you look at the bond funds, the combination of all kinds of bonds managed by a bond manager, that's all he does, of muni bonds, different grade levels, different classes, but they're never going to fluctuate more than 5%. And then they go up and down, but no more than 5%. You're never going to lose.
Do you have any real life advice for either Graham or I?
I mean, listen, if you have money that you want to put away like what I call a war chest, you got to have a war chest. In case the bottom falls out or in case some super great deal comes your way, you got to be able to tap into something so you don't lose the opportunity. See, the biggest problem in life is that a lot of people get opportunities, but they can't execute it. That's the worst thing in the world. I've been in that position. A greatest deal in the world came up when I was younger, but I didn't have the money to do it. I didn't have the wherewithal to do it. You got to stash that money so you have the muscle, the strength, and it's always there to protect you. COVID comes, your hotel's empty. What do you do?
Here's a question for you. What percentage should you have as a war chest? And does it matter, let's just say, if you have margin?
I think you should definitely stash as much cash as you can. All right? You always got to have enough money to pay your bills and live. But besides that, I mean, and it could be in investments like your index funds. Whatever it is, you got to have something liquid that you can access like that. You never know when you're going to need the money, whether it's for emergency, whether it's an opportunity. You never know. You gotta stash
So is it
your
like
cash.
10%, 20%, 25, 30?
As much as you can. As much as you can. Now, I spend my money on real estate, a lot of it. So it's a different story. I might have, whatever, a couple $100 million in real estate, a couple $100 million here, a couple $100 million, whatever. I mean, I'm more diversified because real estate's my profession. But everybody needs to have something put away for that rainy day.
Graham is saying how much in cash for someone like Graham who has a diversified portfolio in index funds and stuff like that.
Nothing should be sitting in just cash.
No,
cash
but like
equivalents, Muni bonds.
tax-free Muni bonds.
If it's invested in something that you are comfortable with and you're happy with the return, that's good enough.
So I'm 25% tax-free Muni bonds. The rest is real estate and mostly stocks.
Everybody has different risk tolerance. I don't need to have a risk tolerance. I don't want risk. That's why I lean towards muni bonds. I mean, I don't need to worry about really growing. I made enough money to last me a lifetime. Now I got to figure out how I'm going to pass it down to my family and generations, So, it's whatever you're comfortable with where your money's at. Me, I just happen to be a big believer in muni bond funds and muni bonds. Because I like the comfort of the safety and knowing when I go to bed tomorrow, even if you look them up in the worst crash possible, they're not going to go down more than 10%. As a total hits the fan, okay? Even when interest rates go way down, which ain't going to happen again, they're still not going to crash. It's still valuable because the government's going to pay back that loan or the state or the county or the city or the hospital or whatever. Everybody's got their own, taste. My taste is being safe. I have a little risky, I let Merrill Lynch play with, but they've turned out good. Main thing is my focus is real estate. The point is, make as much money as you can and stash it away in things that aren't risky or too risky. But if a real estate deal does come your way, you want to be able to run that cash and snatch that real estate up. If you're going to make money on the real estate. That's what I do.
Is there anything else that you want to mention, like consulting or?
We try really hard to put out good content, that's entertaining and helps educate people and show them what the real life is. Listen, I'm not knocking anybody, but how many real estate guys go out there? I mean, yeah, you got your house people, but I don't really consider them in my world. They're doing houses, which is great for the people that want to do houses. I don't do houses, but I would like to, educate more people in the world. So, we focus on our videos. We go out there and show you what we're doing, how we're buying, what we're looking for, and analyzing deals, underwriting deals. We try to explain that and teach people that because you know why? They don't teach it in school. They don't even teach you in school how to run a bank account. Do you believe that? Kids who graduated high school at 18 years old never walked into a bank and made a deposit. I had to teach my kid how to make a deposit. Or, now it's online or even online. I mean, listen, educating people so the world could all grow together is what I'm looking for. And that's it. We try to put out good content, share our video. And the consulting, I love helping people, and I'm looking for the next deal. It's all about finding a deal, baby. Finding a deal.
We highly recommend the consulting. I've been saying this for a while. I think you're undercharging. So for anyone interested, what's the website?
benmallah.com. Consult with Ben.
Link down below. In the
we'll just link it down below
of
in the
course,
description.
all of Ben's stuff is linked down below in the description. Guys, thank you so much for listening to this podcast.
Thank you.
We would not be here without you. So endlessly grateful for you guys watching, especially if you made it to the end. Thank you.
Oh, and also for the members, there's a lot of content in here that we did not include in the main episode. So if you want to see it uncensored, by the way, join the membership. You're going to get extra content, early access, uncensored, and I personally respond to all the comments. I think that's pretty good. That's a good deal, too.
If you want to know the latest styles and haircuts, here you go right here.
Thank you guys for watching. Till next time.